Hi Ross, this is the video feedback for your component 2 animation simulation. What we're going to do is I'm going to have a quick look at your work here and just give you some feedback on that, and then I'll go into a bit of detail on your document as well. So overall, I think you've done a fantastic piece. The simulations that you've got in there work well. Some movement in there that could be worked on more so with the fluid simulation, but in terms of the smoke fire simulation that you've got and the hair simulation, I think they work very well. So let's have a quick look. So in terms of the fire simulation, I know that you asked the question of that you weren't able to get the fire actually looking like it's fire, but if you rendered this out, this would look like there's a fire on there, and it would have elements of smoke on that, and that's visible from the simulation that you've got working on there, which does work really well. And as that tracks and that as the club kind of torch moves around, that works really well. And one thing actually, with the first time I saw this, I missed that you actually had hair simulation in here, and I picked up on that like after I watched it a few times, and you can actually see how well that works, and that the tail of the hair, the kind of ponytail, does follow the character quite well, and as the character stops, it kind of lands back on the shoulders nicely. A little bit floaty, it floats a little bit, but that's not too bad. It kind of shows that the character's momentum moving forward is quite intense. Probably ease that down a little bit, maybe give it a little bit more weight. Would have been nice if you had a character kind of look more to the left and right, kind of more violently, so that you can get a better look of that. But that's not that important because I can see that it still works quite well. Still see here the sim working nicely, the flame works nicely there. And then when it comes down to the fluid sim, generally speaking, that all works perfectly fine. Some elements of kind of what we call glooping, where it clumps together, which would need addressing. Maybe the kind of viscosity of it needs to be turned down a little bit to make it a little bit more fluid. But apart from that, I think you've done a fantastic piece. So moving on to your document, again, a very good document. I think you need to slightly tie more back into the examples that you've done and link that back to the research that you've done, because it's a bit heavier on the research element of what it is that you want to do and how you want it to look, but less comparison and justification of what you've done then in your final scenes, because I know you've got some rendered sequences here which do show off the water a little bit better, but you can still see here that it kind of gloops up and over on those rocks as well. And here you can see the fire sim working nicely there as well, and the hair sim working as well. So yeah, I think the main thing with the document, apart from the research, needs to be not so much toned down, but it needs to be linked to what it is that you've got and what its important is, and how it's influenced or impacted your, or what impact that's had on your work, and then that will give you an opportunity to justify the decisions that you've then made, or how you've then gone about it.